Sorry, Harry is not doing anything that's productive. The minute he walked out of that whole life and decided to trash his entire family and, that book that was ridiculous and everything else, I don't understand where did he think he was going to go with this, that everybody was going to fall in love with him because he was Harry? I am beginning to suspect that a lot of the discord between King Charles, Prince William, and the spare sus, Harry and Meghan, that has been excessively reported in the media might be a little true. Now, hear me out. Listen, I covered this once because it was part of my series Things on my YouTube homepage, and for some reason, Harry and Meghan have now infiltrated my newsfeed more times than I would care to admit. From every corner of the world is up on my feed talking about these people insatiably. It gives me Princess Diana vibes when, before the internets, we were inundated with all of the pictures in all of the magazines, if you want to call them that, 24 hours a day. So because of that, I tried to look into why am I getting so much of Harry and Meghan when the last thing I remembered was that they wanted privacy, they wanted to go off on their own, and then I started digging into the branding of Meghan Markle's as if as ever or whatever the hell she's got going on in her stupid TV show, and I was like, all right, listen, here's the problem. At the end of the day, we have to look at it like you can't believe everything that you hear and see. Right? You can hypothesize, you can try to do lip reading, you can follow the breadcrumbs kind of scenario. I get all that. I do. I truly do. But then I was just thinking maybe sometimes things are being said about them that were too much. Until these last few weeks, where he, being Harry, the spare sus, lost funding for his charity, the Invictus Games. So let's take a look at what transpired for this, because this is crazy to me.
A massive blow to Harry. He hasn't even responded yet. But let's just go over sort of the bare bones basics here, which is that the Australian government decided for 3 years, ending this year, to fund the Invictus Games at about their version of it, like kind of Australia's team and those sorts of things, at about $3 million a year. So they did that. But for the 2027-2028 fiscal budget, they're like, yeah, no, we're not giving any money to this anymore. And the Invictus Games, of course, is quite upset about that, raging that people will die if they do not renew this deal. If you're using people's lives to kind of try to force things with sympathy and those sorts of things, you already kind of lost the argument. But there's actually, again, something really, really critical going on here, and something that has been revealed so key, which is that the games aren't necessary. That is what the Australian government just told Harry and Invictus. The games aren't a necessity, and ergo, we are not required to fund them. So let's look at the Invictus Games response here, because they, of course, I understand, we're not too happy. So it begins here. We are profoundly disappointed following the 2026-2027 federal budget, which confirmed the complete withdrawal of federal government funding for our national veteran sport and rehabilitation programs. The impact of this decision will be felt by veterans and families across Australia. Without continued funding, programs that help veterans manage PTSD, anxiety, and depression, very good use of not using the Oxford comma there, rebuild a purpose after service, and reconnect with community are now at risk. For many members of the defense community, these programs provide connection after isolation, routine during recovery, a support network of people who understand the challenges that can come with life after service. To date, Invictus Australia has supported close to 30,000 veterans and family members, but only 1% of that 30,000 actually went to the Invictus Games. Just pointing that out there, 1%, 33. There were 33 competitors from Australia at the last Invictus Games, and well-being programs across the country and as part of the international and national teams. We know these programs change lives not only because the research and evidence has confirmed it, but because we see and hear it every day from those participating in community sport and through the powerful stories of international competitors. And so there's even sort of a longer statement here on their website, claiming again this will have far-reaching implications. And at times when Australia continues to grapple with the findings of Royal Commission into Defence and Veteran ending their lives, this decision represents a serious step backwards in the nation's commitment to veterans' well-beings. We continue to lose 6 veterans a month to a sad state of ending their own lives. 52% of Australian veteran families have experienced mental health challenges in the past 12 months. Veterans who remain physically active have a 40% higher likelihood of overcoming mental health challenges. Victus Australia's sport-based community-led approach can contribute.
Okay. I said at that point, all right, that's not good. Red flag number 1. And you all know how much I love red flags. Then I said, well, if this doesn't push him over the edge, I don't know what will. Because he's not doing too good, spiders. He really isn't. Then suddenly it dawned on me that Meghan, the Sussexes of Sus, was invited to Geneva to speak on a wonderful charity. Actually, I do believe that that is a very important charity. And every move that she make, every muscle that she toned, every frown, every brow, everything that she ever did in this entire scenario was picked apart. And, as I started to think about it and I started looking at some of the videos, I did notice that it was a little odd that for the charity that she was speaking of, which by the way, I had no idea that she was even part of this. And this is another problem that I have. I don't know what charities other than Invictus Games they really are a part of. So I was kind of surprised that she took up the mantle to speak on behalf of this charity that I don't know what her role in it is, right? So let's start with that. Start with that. When I saw the crowds, or lack thereof, it was kind of shocking. Did you see this? Let's review.
Is Meghan talking to herself? Guys, people trolled a lot online when during Geneva Visit Meghan did an event in which she was telling that social media companies and internet are harmful for children. When its videos were published online, then people saw not the speech but the audience, which was almost non-existent. When there is no audience, then what security does Meghan need anyway? Do you agree with people's talk? Right, yeah.
Okay. That's not good. Whether it was a media faux pas in the sense that I didn't know that this charity existed and maybe they didn't do the right publicity for it. I don't know. I don't follow her to that extent. So this all of a sudden showing up at Geneva to speak to this, I'm like, is she head of the charity? Is she the face? Like, what's going on? And maybe that I gave it a doubt. I said, well, maybe nobody really knew about it. That's why nobody showed up. I tried. I'm trying to understand both sides of what the hell's going on here. It's not looking good, spiders. Listen. Then, of course, Princess Catherine, she goes off to Italy, first time alone after her cancer diagnosis, etc. And, they did the comparison of, the crowds, if you want to call it that, because what happened at whatever that is in Geneva, that's not a crowd. That's people walking by and saying, hey, who that? Who that? I got my remote on. Sorry. If you see flashing lights, it's because my television has a screensaver, so it just screen saves different colors. So that's why you'll see different tones. You're not crazy. It's true. See? Bright lights. Listen, when I saw the roaring crowds for Lady Catherine's visit to Italy and the comparison to what they did to Meghan, I was like, oh, Nelly. So There is no race between them because you need to be in it to be a race. There is no contest. Um, what solidified it for me as far as the discord, though I know that it was ongoing for a while, the book, the Oprah, the pa, was when I heard recently that both the sus, the spare sus, Harry and Meghan, were not invited to a royal wedding.
Breaking today, Prince Harry and Meghan Markle have just been banned from this year's major royal wedding. And it is a particular humiliation for the so-called Duke and Duchess of Sussex because Princess Beatrice and Princess Eugenie, who you might think are just a little bit more toxic at the moment, will be there. And actually, I do think this puts pay to some of the suggestions that there is this type of reconciliation going on between the fake royals and the real royals. Let's just leave King Charles to one side. I think the young royals absolutely have no contact with Harry and Meghan anymore and don't intend for them to be part of any.
Now, that's a problem. Now I believe that there's a real issue. Because you can say whatever you want about everything else. But when family is not inviting you, because they're family, they're cousins, to the wedding, oh lordy, Lord, I don't even understand. Like in any culture, that's a disrespect. I don't care who it is. Indian, Puerto Rican, Latino. If you're not invited, American, you're not invited to a wedding and your family, walk on by. It's done. You're done. That's when I said, holy balls. Yeah, this is not looking good. So then my question is this. I just found out also that somehow, I don't know how, because I don't understand this whole royal line of succession. They don't want to be part of the royal family. They extricated themselves. They only have a title. She has a title of Duchess. They literally moved out of Great Britain. They're done. They're in California. Okay. How is it possible that they're still in the line of succession? What does it take for them to be finally ousted from the line? What they gave their notice. They left the country. They're not doing anything to support the royal family. They trashed them. What does it take for them to be completely discorded from them? I understand that King Charles has to make a decision and make a proclamation or sign something. What do we sign? Just as an American, I would go and sign whatever they need me to sign, representing the Meghan debacle. They cannot be still part of the possibility of going and being the king and queen of England. I can't understand that. Somebody from that region or understand, explain this to me. I get it that Charles has to make a decision. I don't know what he's doing. I don't know what he's waiting on, but I would have cut them quick. Just the fact that they're not even invited to the royal wedding tells me something. And my other question is this. With all of this media coverage, what is the end goal? To drive them completely to the point of no return? Because I feel like this is not going to end well. Okay. I don't know how. I can't explain it. It's something in my bones, to drive them to the point of no return in any way capacity. Because there cannot be in the household that they're safe and happy and they don't realize what's happening out there. It's impossible. Okay. And it's not something that's healthy for them, the children, the family, regardless of what they did and didn't do, which I don't agree upon on anything that they've done. But the children, like maybe I care too much about people and family and, even though they clearly don't give the same cojones or, love back. But I don't know, maybe because I'm endeared to Diana and I didn't want to see this for Harry, for neither of her children. It is quite startling that I don't know what's going to set Harry over the edge because there's not a good track record with these family members. The only person that came out as a spare and was successful was Queen Elizabeth's dad, right? So, Andrew, I don't understand these people who consider themselves, the spare. Why do they go off this deep end? They can do so much good and they do nothing. Because I'm sorry, Harry is not doing anything that's productive. The minute he walked out of that whole life and decided to trash his entire family and, that book that was ridiculous and everything else, I don't understand where did he think he was going to go with this, that everybody was going to fall in love with him because he was Harry? Is he nuts? Sorry to say that, but he's a little poquito total in the head, and then he meets Meghan, who is a catalyst, an instigator, a narcissist, and the two of them, I don't feel that this is good. And here's my only concern, and I'll wrap this up. Where are they pushing these two to go? At what point the bow is going to break? Because I would not want to see anything happen to either one of them in that capacity that happened with their family. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's not something that I wish for anyone, to be honest with you. And it's sad to think that that could be the trajectory because you could only push people so far. You could only push people so far. Like you could only push them to a point of no return, to a point of no return. So sorry, my TV just went on. So if you hear it in the background, it's not you, it's me. So let me just turn it down so you're not crazy. I'm actually watching yet another Michael Jackson, uh, biography. I might be a little obsessed. Um, and I wouldn't want to see anything bad happen to them in that respect because they don't have a good track record. But I don't feel that unless a miracle comes over them and Harry wakes up and he decides to get out, whether he loses custody of his children and only has visitation rights, I don't see any other way to get this boy healthy. I just don't. So I don't know if anybody else is following this. I don't know if it's coming up on your news feeds just as much as it's coming on mine and you just swipe away and it keeps coming like a herd of ants. But if there's anybody who understands any of this better than I can, iterate, other than the fact that there's a big disdain for them, and I get it. Trust me, I read all the comments in my last, video about this. Where do you feel that this is going to push them over to the edge? Where do you feel that this inevitably can go? And please, I would not like the darker side to happen to either one of them. I feel that they need to just give it up, let Harry go back home, try to find a way to redeem himself, not just with his family, which is the most important thing in the world, but with the public, and try to start to do the things that he should be doing as a royal member of the family, whether he is taken out of the line of succession or not. Try to spend as much time with his children, get maybe, not so much, custody, but, share custody, and let Meghan figure out her own way, because this way that they're doing this is not good. It is literally everything they say, breathe, eat, look at, look what they break down everything. And I don't know about you, but it gives me a headache. It gives me a headache. I'm like, I've been down this road already with Diana. I don't want to continue seeing this. We have so many other things that we have to worry about. Now I gotta get, sped this malarkey. And then I look at them and I'm like, this is not going to end well. It can't. So that was my rant for the day for the YouTube things that happen in my algorithm that I can't control. And you know what? Let me know if your YouTube feed is uncontrollable. And hey, by the way, my name is Lena and welcome to my channel. Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back to all those who have been following me, subscribing, and actually staying tuned with me. Thank you for that, because that means the world to me. I'm almost at 1,200. I can't remember. Forgive me. I'm going a little crazy. I'm a little tired too. But I wanted to come in here and try to bring you some information. And maybe if with my smile and my giddiness and my exhaustion, it will make you smile. Because I have more videos coming up, short ones just like this. I just wanted to share with you and let me know your thoughts about this. Where do you think the end goal from this excessive media coverage will be to push them over to one side, at least to try to get some hopeful light in his life because he has no light in his life. I really don't care about Meghan. She can go somewhere else. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't like her. I've tried. I've tried listening to her. I've tried watching her. I've tried understanding her. I don't get her. So tell me your thoughts. I appreciate you commenting and watching and subscribing and looking at my videos and for liking, sharing, hyping, and all the things that YouTube expects every one of you guys to do for your favorite creators or just a creator that you'd like to support to get them out to the algorithm because believe it or not, all that does help. So I appreciate that. So next up, I have a few more videos. Hopefully I'll get them out today. Let me know your thoughts. And I want to wish you a blessed day. Memorial Day weekend for all those who are going to be enjoying it. Week, month, year. Because from here and literally around the world and to the other side of the pond. Thank you, everyone. Have a blessed day. Goodbye. Mwah.